This video will explain in full detail how character stat sheets will work for the Spirit Crusaders. Let us begin. The first question I will answer is, what is a character stat sheet? A character stat sheet is, as the name implies, a chart that determines the general stats and special capabilities of an individual character throughout the story of the Spirit Crusaders. What does a character stat sheet graph? The character stat sheet graphs three different categories. These categories are simply called stats, skills, and special abilities. How does the stat chart work? The stats chart works by grading a character's general performance / rankings in the 5 major categories within this specific chart. These 5 categories are known as standing, speed, strength, magic, and potential. These 5 categories are ranked as followed: F, E, D, C, B, A, S, and double S, also known as SS, with F being the worst and double S being the best. What does the 5 major categories in the stat chart represent? We shall start from top to bottom, as that's the way the chart is meant to be read. The following explanation ties with the story itself, so bear this in mind as you listen to them. Let's start with standing. This stat defines a being's ability to stand. What this means is how well they are able to last in various situations, such as fighting, for example. Standing shows how much they are capable of withstanding, and how they are able to much more likely push themselves back up. Very low standing means they will not last long in fights against stronger opponents. However, if one standing is very high, they will be able to last very long in battle, or if put on the ropes, they have the willingness to push and continue fighting. Next up is speed. This stat is self-explanatory. Speed is defined as how swift a being can be with their movements. Whether it's running, dodging, striking, or flying, speed aids the being in these major categories. Having high speeds also allows one's ability to quickly adapt to various situations. However, low speeds will result in oneself being less capable to perform actions as fast as others. The third category is strength. This stat can be defined in many ways, but as of now we are focusing on physical strength. Having strength is what can separate you from between a rock and a hard place, both figuratively and literally. Having the ability to be super strong makes you more of a force to be reckoned with, and you are more likely to deliver much more deadlier blows during battle. I'd like to imagine those with high strength being the type of folks who literally lift and punch boulders for a living, whereas those with low strength can hardly open a jar of pickles. The next interesting category is magic. There are endless ways to define magic. Sun, moon, love, friendship, you name it. The main and best way to define magic is the power behind it. What this means is how well one is capable of performing magic, whether it's just regular magic or something more. It is defined by how well it is casted. Specifically, those with high magic are able to cast more potent and more powerful spells, whereas being with low magic will be the opposite. Alicorns instantly have the highest grade of magic, ranking them the best magic users. Earth ponies and Pegasi receive the lowest grade in magic because they are unable to use magic. Yet. Lastly is potential. The most important stat of all is known as potential. This stat defines a being's true power and the future powers they may obtain or already have, but are kept locked away, just waiting to be unlocked. One's potential is the most important because it is something that can be quite frightening, yet spectacular. Potential shows one's future and what they aspire to become. One's ability to have potential can bring them through great lengths depending on how much they have. Potential is a being's ability to grow, adapt, and overcome. Having high potential shows that a being can and will grow and evolve, in a sense, to much greater heights. heights that even princesses have trouble reaching. Having a high potential rating doesn't just affect one's ability to grow, it also affects a being's capabilities to push through various situations that are tough for normal beings, almost as if they were destined to succeed. The major reason as to why potential towers above the rest is because beings with high potential can have the ability to negate all other stats no matter what. Per se, if a being is lucky enough with their high stat of potential, it won't matter if all their other stats are low grade. Their will and resolve shall shine brighter than Celestia's burning sun and awaken something within them. This can end situations quickly if done right. While even having a grade in potential, it is still hard to reach these points of awakenings. Only through hard work and determination shall one achieve such heights. Those with low potential are obviously the opposite, except even with a low grade, a being is still able to grow, just not very much. It will take much longer for those in the low grades to achieve such lengths, sometimes longer. But still, they can do so in due time. Those with no potential at all? Well, you can guess. Those are the 5 major categories within the stats chart. How is it like when a character is graphed, and what is used for the placeholders of their stats? When a character is rated upon the chart, it will look a little something like this. The placeholders will be these special emblems that represent the stats they are meant for, via their design, shape, color, and picture that is designated upon the center of the emblem. Now we shall move on to the second chart, the skills graph. First, let's begin with what is the skills graph? The skills graph is this triangular graph that represents a character's particular placement when it comes to 3 skill categories. These 3 categories are known as Blast, Flight, and Teleportation. What does Blast, Flight, and Teleportation mean? These are easy to understand. Firstly, Blast means how well a being is able to perform a simple beam type blast. Certain other types of blast can fit into this category, but the main focus is beam type and how truly powerful it is. Beings who are not unicorns, alicorns, or some type of magical being that is able to cast a blast cannot perform blasts, therefore receive the lowest grade. The magic category affects this. Next is Flight. Flight is determined by how excellent a being is able to fly and maneuver during flight. Beings who are incapable of flight via not having wings will be given the lowest grade. Using magic to fly does not count. The speed category affects this. Lastly is Teleportation. Teleportation is determined by how well a being is able to teleport. Examples would be how far a being is able to teleport, how fast they can teleport, and how much energy/stamina it takes out of the being when they teleport. Beings who are not unicorns, alicorns, or beings capable of magic will not be able to teleport, therefore will receive the lowest grade. Teleporting via portals or special one-way teleports do not count. The magic category affects this. The skills chart is graded the same way as the stats chart, from F to SS, like such. Here's an example. The skills chart currently does not have any special emblems to it, but this may change in the future. That pretty much sums it up for the skills triangle. Now we shall move on to the final section of the charts. The special abilities chart. What is the special abilities chart? The special abilities chart is simply put as a section where characters' special abilities are displayed. They are displayed via name, and they will also have their description on what they do right next to the name of said ability. Abilities may be shown as blank or unknown if the ability is undiscovered, or if the name of the ability is revealed but not the description, then only the name shall show. Same vice versa. What makes a special ability special? What makes a special ability special is if it has some form of importance to the story. All abilities here are important to something, that's why they are here. Special abilities are here to also give more of an interest into a character and what they are capable of. That's all there really is for this special abilities chart. This one is the simplest out of all of them. These three charts are a visual print of the gist of a character's general stats, traits, and capabilities. Some stats for characters will change over time as the story progresses, and some abilities will be updated. This is important to remember. And with that, the explanations of each graph has now been completed. However, here's a question you could be asking, which brings us to our last topic to cover. What is the purpose of the character stat sheet? The true purpose is to create more of an in-depth view of individual characters as the story of the Spirit Crusaders progresses. The purpose is to leave a feeling of wonder and interest towards a character, to really give you a feel of how important they are, how strong they are, how capable they are, and most importantly, how and how well they impact the story. Since stats will change as the story progresses, the aim is to have the reader always come back to follow up on the progression of character stats. Every single one of these categories in each chart plays an important role within the character. These categories are meant to give the reader a general basis of how they could begin to visualize a character's importance and how much they will grow throughout the story. One last detail on the purpose of the character stat sheet is just because it is simply a neat little thing that adds on to the wonders of imagination as you read. It gives characters more depth to them, and also because it's fun. It's simply fun. It's quite fascinating to have a little reference sheet to look upon when you want to get to know a character more than what you've seen of them so far. There are tons more reasons as to why this whole thing is quite interesting, alongside with its purpose, but I'm pretty sure you've gotten the gist of things here. Now I know this was a lot to take in, but that's okay. This video will always be here to help you understand things more whenever you can't quite wrap your head around something involving it. Though, once you understand the general basis of things and how it works, then you'll get it and learn to enjoy this even more. That shall be all for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below. Also check out the links in the description for more regarding the Spirit Crusaders as well as the story itself. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was very informative. Hope to hear from you very soon. Goodbye, every pony.